And here we are, day 176 of Strange and Interesting Times. And I'm still kind of amazed that I keep doing this. But it's really good for me to do it because these are strange times and strange things are happening, and the world isn't that comfortable of a place right at the moment. And when I do these, I do that process that I'm sharing the tips with you about. I do that process for myself because when I do that, I'm at ease in myself. And when I don't do it, I get caught up in ideas. I get caught up in what I'm thinking about, what the news is talking about. You know, you almost can't go to a restaurant and not have the news. Now, I do in my house not watch the news. I pick and choose what I look at because that's how I choose to manage it. I prefer to read my news than to have it come at me verbally with pictures. I just don't really like that as a way to get the news. And so I choose to avoid that in my house. But when you go to a restaurant, if they have a video screen, TV screen up, a lot of times it's hard to find a place to sit where you can't see the screen. And you know, everybody says kids have so much more attention deficit these days. I just think more that people don't think about the various inputs that are coming into their house. I mean, when I was growing up, my brother played the drums and he practiced in the basement. And so all the sound came up through the house, through the heating vents and system in the house. My mom taught dancing. We had a dance studio in our house on the ground floor. And so when she was teaching, there probably wasn't a room in the house where you couldn't hear the dance music. And at the same time, my brother's playing the drums. And a lot of times my mom was teaching tap. So there was that percussion and my brother's percussion and the sound of the dance music. And often I was practicing the piano when I wasn't taking dance class. So we had a lot of auditory input in my house. Now, I never thought of this, but it just has occurred to me that perhaps because of this, depending on the activity I was doing, I focused in on the sound from the activity I was doing. I mean, even if you went to watch the television, the dance class was going on downstairs, the drumming might be happening. Piano, if I was watching TV, I wasn't playing the piano. If my brother was watching TV, he wasn't playing the drums. But in order to deal with all of this input, you had to focus on your event with the sound and kind of put the rest of it into the background. And my friend Pauline Oliveras used to call that, like what was in my house was a field of sound. And she used to, like I would get really mad in a traffic jam in New York City is where I met her. I would say, oh, this horn's honking, the honk, it makes me so mad. And she's like, just adjust what you're listening to. Listen to the field of sound. Listen to all the different pitches of all the different horns. Listen to the rhythm of the different horns and the people who to do that. Then pick out individual sounds from the field and focus your attention on that sound. And that was part of what her practice was, called deep listening. And it was a listening practice and working with the field of sound and individual sounds and what it meant to listen and comprehend as opposed to just hearing things or hearing things and ignoring them. So that was one piece of this, and how we deal with sound and input and things that come at us and the things that happen. some of this is really chaotic. And how do we allow or make space for self-care within the midst of chaos? This is a skill, and it's a choice. And choosing self-care is a deliberate choice. It's a really empowering choice. I sometimes share with people that I grew up in where I grew up. Everybody was pretty nice, mostly, but all the adults were teaching all the children all the time, whether they were a school teacher or a Sunday school teacher or a friend of your parents, or we had close family friends that weren't related to us, but we called them aunts and uncles. And all of these people were providing guidance and input to all of the children in their lives. And they had us basically in the small town I grew up in. There was a kind of basic understanding of code of behavior. I mean, something as simple as, when you're going to cross the street, you stop, you look both ways, you make sure there's no traffic, and then you go across the street. Any adult, when I was growing up, would, if they saw you approaching the street on your bike or running, they would put their arm out. They would say, stop, look, listen for any traffic coming, and then cross the street. Even if as an adult you didn't know, they would say that to you, because everybody was sort of looking out for everybody else in this small, rural, Midwestern town. And one of the things that they taught too was this idea of the golden rule, which is the way I learned it, that you should do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And part of this they did when the first time you're a little bitty kid, little tiny kid, and somebody has a kitten or we used to get at Easter time, we got eggs for chicken eggs and duck eggs and a little incubator, and you would watch them and they would warm up and they would hatch out and you would take care of them and they'd grow up to be big ducks or chickens. I had a chicken named Dougie. Well, he was a rooster. He was mean. Oh, he was mean. But I used to walk him. I used to carry him in my arms and walk around the block. I was not a normal kid. I would meet my neighbor. He had a little pug, a little black and white pug dog, Mr. Freiberger. And we would walk around the block together. He would walk his dog on a leash and I would carry my rooster. It was part of my growing up. But you would get these eggs and these little animals, and you have to take care of them. And when you're a really, really little kid, you kind of don't understand squeezing, and you don't understand that you can hurt somebody else. And so before they would let us hold the little ducks or the little chickens when they were babies, or the puppy or a kitten, they would say, now, when somebody hugs you, do you like to be squeezed really, really tight, or do you like just a nice soft hug? And you would say a nice soft hug. And so they would say, well, then that's that's how you like to be treated. That's how you want to treat the little duck. So this was nice. Okay, so this was part of it. But at a certain point in my life, I realized that I was doing a lot of things for other people that I was not necessarily doing from a generous heart. I was doing them because they were things I needed to have done, but I wasn't asking somebody to do them for me. I was doing them for someone else on a kind of backwards understanding of the golden rule, thinking that if I would do this for them, they would understand that I wanted that done for me and they would do it back for me. I don't know if it's exactly child logic or what, but it usually didn't work. And then I end up doing and doing and doing and doing for other people and doing more and doing more. And I was like, this is backwards. This is backwards. Because actually, I'm wearing myself out. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm taking care of everyone else in my circle. And as a result, I'm exhausted. But what everybody sees is that I'm always doing this and that I'm treating my own needs as if they were last. Oh, and guess what? That's what people did. Treat my own needs as if they were last. So that's one of the things I love the best about this work. Based on my friend Mio Morales' Primal Alexander, is the idea of magnanimous selfishness. Because when I take care of myself, I have much more energy, resources, and time to help other people that I care about. When I'm exhausted because I gave it all out without replenishing my own source, then I don't have anything to give to the people I care about. And they don't understand. So I had to learn to ask for what I wanted. And I had to learn to take care of myself, to give myself the time I need to restore, to give myself the space I need, if I need to write, if I need to soak in a hot tub, if I need to go for a walk outdoors, whatever I might need on whatever day I might need it, if I give that to myself, I am happier and healthier. And the people I care about learn that I have boundaries, because in taking care of ourselves, we create boundaries. We create good boundaries, and we create space from which to share. And so instead of sharing from an empty place and an impoverished place and a place from which I would never get back what I needed, now I share from a heart full place, and I share what the other person needs, not what I need. Because sometimes the other person didn't need what I needed, and I was giving them something. I was very importantly giving them something that they didn't need. It was something I needed, and I thought by giving it to them, they would understand I needed it back, but that it was extra for them because it wasn't what they needed. So I got this kind of figured out over time. And I realized some of the chaos that I used to live through when I thought I didn't have time to take care of myself was the chaos created by, one, not taking care of myself, two, giving out things that people didn't need because I was giving it in order to get it back. That kind of creates a disconnect and a strange energy. And I was also often looking for people who needed something so that I could fill a space of fixing the something that they needed. And so, again, instead of looking at what I needed and what I needed to do, I was looking out with an intention of fixing. Because somehow if I fixed these other things, my life would get fixed itself. No, not. So now I sort of say, you have to be inside the golden rule. And you have to care for yourself. Give to yourself the things that you need. Create your own space and your own boundaries so that other people will know how you wish to be treated. So if I wish to have other people respect my time, I have to respect my time first. I have to not give it all away. And I have to not give it away to every little thing that comes up. And it's kind of like that with many, many things. And to figure out that we have a choice. We have a choice to choose first, to pause and take care of ourselves. Ground ourselves in the present moment, and then see what needs to happen. Sometimes all somebody else needs is for you to be there quietly beside them. They don't need you getting them something, doing something for them. they, they just receive everything they need from your presence when you are present. So that was interesting for you and useful, or had some ideas, made you spark some ideas for you. If you felt like sharing them in the comments, that would be great. If you would like to share this video with anybody you know, please do. And if you would like more information about body-brain balance and living inside the golden rule, I'd be happy to speak to you. Just pop a comment or a personal message to me. And tomorrow will be day 177. See you then.